Sunday, and this is a new moon today. New moon in Leo. A really fiery, creative, romantic energy happening for us. I was cleansing some of my sacred spaces today, and my altar, and all the places I burn incense, and my crystals and different things. So thanks for joining me today. I wanted to do kind of like an unboxing, flip through, walk through of. I've never shopped with the book to get here. I placed an order with them, especially for this deck here. This is Tarot of A.E. Waite. This is by AGM Urania, and this is the premium. This is to a this is a Rider Waite Smith system, Pamela's artwork, and I've seen some other unboxings and flip throughs, and I wasn't this. I think someone did a comparison of this one to the Centennial version, and the Centennial version had the images, the cards I think were a little bit darker, like the High Priestess, and this is what came in. This was the Druid Craft Tarot deck. This is by Philip and Stephanie Carr, illustrated by Will Worthington. This is a much bigger deck than I think I had forgotten this deck is. So I think I'm gonna have to do some trimming on it. We're gonna unbox it. I've already gone through this one, and this is the book that I got as well. I forget how much you had to spend to get free shipping books, but this I think was actually about the same price or cheaper than a pre-owned book. And this is the original Rider Waite Key to the Tarot by A.E. Waite and forward by Liz Green. Fun little book. I have been flipping through this thing as we were out and about the other day, and I've already underlined some things and started making some little notes. So yeah, they sent with each item I got a little bookmarker from the Big Book Depository, really cute with little images on them. Here's the back side. And then they sent me, I haven't checked this out, but they sent me a voucher. I have no idea how much the wines are, but it is a wine voucher, a special gift for you, $100. Coupon code at nakedwines.com. So I got 3 vouchers. That's a lot of wine. Not sure what their pricing is. I might pop on later and check it out. Haven't gotten to that yet. So if you don't want to make a bad, it comes, I think this is all English, but they had options to be Spanish, maybe French and German editions. I don't quote me on that, but it did come in some other languages. So here's the backs of this deck. It is an orange, kind of like stone looking. There's a blue box edition. The blue box edition backs have the cross. There's also a blue cross with the red heart in the center, or the red flower, I believe the red flower. And I wasn't sure if I wanted that edition or this one. So I went with this one. Yellow tones, then the Rider Waites that you pick up are bright yellow, and I have a hard time with bright yellow. So if you do 2, this is a good deck that you might want. Blues, again, are really good in this. Again, so here is the High Priest, really clear in this one, and I believe the Centennial version, she's a little bit darker, so I like that you can see that clearly. This is a beautiful, clear image as well, too. I think that's what I liked about this deck a lot, was the line work was really good. The images are really clear, and it is your classic Rider Waite with Pamela's artwork. Lovers. There's the Chariot. And so I know some mention about the strength card, how you can see very clearly the lion and her, how they're intertwined. And her wreath is going around a lion's neck. So they are very connected. And it's very clear in this deck. So if you're looking for a deck that has some very clear imagery. This is another card, the death card. Very, very nice, clear imagery of the children and the priest or friar, king or bishop. And then there are actually there's even more detail that maybe some of the other decks are not printing very clearly. And so this is a really good death card for this one. It's very clear imagery. It's another one where the imagery is really clear on our crustacean character there on the moon card. Same with the sun card. It is just really, really clear on the line work. A bit more. And there's some subtleties in some of the other decks where the Queen of Swords, her facial expression is a little bit varied. So I feel like in this one she's just very stern, and I think in some of them it almost like she's either smiling or really frowning. It's kind of gone, to the other extremes where I feel like this is how it was meant to be. Forced to be recognized. I guess I didn't realize when I've been looking at this card how the church and the sanctuary is there also, like in the Five of Pentacles, but there's no door to it. It's just a window. Interesting. Food for thought. This is another card I looked at a lot of others about, the Two of Swords. There, I just felt like this one relaxed. I think one of them where the sky is a little bit darker and gradated, and the water a little bit rougher, I think, in some of the other artwork depictions. I like that. I really like that image in this deck. Here's another one. This is the Two of Wands, and I feel like this one had a really clear image of mountains and the water and the earth. Some of the other depictions will have more of a sunset going on in the background. This one is more of like a very light blue, light gray sky. So there's a little bit different interpretation, I feel, with the sunset one. But overall, I love the coloration of this deck. Not too pale, not too bright, just right. And Queens have some heavy line work in other versions, and I feel like this one you can clearly see the cherub on her chair, and up above there's cherubs, and you can see the pebbles and how the water just goes up into her cloak. You can see really clearly the chalice that she's holding and all the detail. And there's, I think that sometimes we miss the clarity. I think it can be really important to see the images really clearly. So done really well. I feel like this card too is a lot clearer in the line work, so you can see all the detail of the cups and the flowers and may not have noticed the rabbit in a version that you might have. This one has a lot of detail, and so I feel like the line work is really important um, to be able to see all the imagery really clearly. And this is a really good deck for that. Especially this card can be really hard to see in other decks. And this one has a lot going on in it. It's really good to have. This is another card I had seen in many other different versions that people have shared. His facial expression has been different, maybe because of the line work or how it was printed. I feel like he's like just, you know, been a hard day of work, tired, and looking back at all his fruitful bounty that he's been harvesting. It's just interesting how the facial expressions can change how you think of the situation or the card that it is representing. I believe this is another one where her facial expression is joyful. Some other decks, it almost seems like she didn't quite seem as joyful in her joy and contentment. I liked the edge. There's that deck. This shuffles really, really well. Overhead shuffle. If you wanted to riffle shuffle, this riffle shuffles really well too. It makes a really nice squishy sound. I love this deck. And I think it was, this one was under $20 as well. The Druid Craft Tarot deck. Show the box one more time. And I love this deck because of this image. I love this deck. I have a Celtic heritage background. My husband is actually, he has a Hispanic and Danish heritage background. And I have always been drawn to the mythology the Norse and Celtic and Druids, and I just love that. So it comes with a beautiful little book. It has a fairly thick cardstock. The images are kind of like more of a sepia tone, like that brown sepia tone. It's not black and white. It's a brown sepia. Um, good size images. I do like it when people print books with the color images. I don't think I've had a chance to really flip through this. It has the relationship of the major and minor arcana to the self. The diagram. Let's see, I don't know if it had any spreads. So it has a sample reading with the hexagram spread. So it gives you a sample reading that you can do and shuffle. So it's a beautiful back, 78 cards, 80-page guidebook. The claim deck created by practicing Druids combines the two great streams of Western pagan tradition, Wicca and Druidry. Its powerful images have emerged from a vast teachings and storytelling rooted in the past. They will help you achieve a closer connection with the natural world and bring you insight and inspiration for the issues you face today. So it is a large deck. This is, let me just grab one of these. Here is your traditional tarot, taller and wider. Get my ruler. It is like 3/4 of an inch wider than your traditional tarot deck card on the top and on the side. So I have large hands. I have Indian heritage, and so this is still hard for me to hold. I think it's really big, so there's not a whole lot going on the backs, and I may be trimming this to take all the white off. And it's thick. It seems like it's a lot thicker than your traditional tarot. So you got the Fool. Hold these still. They are glossy a little bit laminated and glossy. I'm not sure how well these photograph for like Instagram or if you're working with a client. I think this will be a really fun deck. I love the simple way that they are dressed. was a very different view of the Two of Swords. Looking out. Got the fire. I could like live there. Like it almost looks like a yurt. I mean, my husband and I have talked about that. We would have loved to live in a yurt. And that was a very big possibility before we moved here of finding some land and helping up a yurt and having our little farm and goats. But instead, we're here by the ocean with our mini farm. Oops. Going too fast. Really beautiful imagery. Just with the green. I don't know if anyone has watched Vikings on Hulu. It has been a great series to watch. I just finished season 6. And they left me hanging. So bummed about that. I love watching about Ragna and Tales of Ragna. And I love all the braids. I actually had been doing twists and I switched it back to my Dutch braids. I don't know if I'm brave enough to be a shield maiden, but I love Renaissance. Love that. And just how they lived. I loved how they lived. Very simply with nature and cooking outdoors and adventure. Working with their hands, working with the land, crafting things, making medicinals. That is just, it is me. Love all of that. Storytelling. Gathering around the fire and the dinner. Really beautiful deck. It is going to be really a little tougher to shuffle overhand because it's so wide. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to, it's going to cramp my hands. So I'm thinking I'm just going to probably trim this one. I guess you could shuffle it. I've seen some people shuffle it this way, where it's the long way, but I don't feel comfortable shuffling like that. I don't know why, just it's not really my thing. And I'm sure you could shuffle this one really well. Let me see if I can. It's really hard to grab because it's thick. I think that's what's like a really thick deck. It's hard to grab it all. I can't quite grab it all with one hand. So I'm having a hard time grabbing this one. It is pretty thick. So I think if I trim it, I can overhead shuffle it a little bit better. You probably have to break this deck up into it's very, but it riffle shuffles very nicely. So I think if it was just a little bit, if it didn't have the white borders, it would probably fit in your hands a lot better. So I can see my hands getting tired trying to shuffle that one a little too much. So the next one I got this book, the original Rider-Waite Key to the Tarot by A.E. Waite. So I was reading this yesterday, and so they have a 4 They have the veil and its symbols. Then they have class 1, where the trumps, major or greater arcana, as they call it. Class 2, the 4 suits or lesser arcana, the history of the tarot. Then they have part 2, the doctrine behind the veil, the trumps, major. And then they have part 3, the outer method of the oracles, the lesser arcana of the 4 suits of tarot cards, greater arcana and their divinatory meanings, some additional meanings of the lesser arcana, reoccurrence of cards in dealing, the art of tarot divination, the alternative method of reading the tarot cards, the method of reading by means of 35 cards, and a concise bibliography. So, as I was reading this, A.E. Waite talks about there's a little bit different meanings due to there being different printings at later times over the years. People have assigned different meanings to the cards than what he originally has assigned for some of these meanings. So I found that really interesting. So if you're looking to maybe the original meanings by A.E. Waite for your Rider-Waite-Smith deck, this would be a really great book for you. Looking at the things I underlined to see which one I wanted to highlight a little bit. And he was talking about, okay, so in the High Priestess, it's usually referred to as the Pope, Joan, or female pontiff. Early interpretations have sought to term the mother or Pope wife, which is opposed to symbolism. So that was one point he made. Insignia, the stars or ribbons of some order of chivalry. I mention this to show that the cards are a medley of old and new emblems. Those who insist upon the evidence of the one may deal, if they can, with the other. No effectual argument for the antiquity of I got a twisting tongue today. No effectual argument for the antiquity of a particular design can be drawn from the fact that it incorporates old material, but there is also none which can be based on which may signify only the unintelligent hand of an editor. So he's basically saying that someone who was not knowledgeable as an editor kind of made some changes, is what I'm getting from that. So also the insignia of the figures are papal in the high priest or hierophant, and it can be only the church to whom pope and priests are married by the spiritual rite of ordination. I think, however, that it's in primitive form, the card did not represent the Roman pontiff. So there's just some different card, and showing father and mother with their child placed between them, and the pagan Cupid above, in the act of flying his shaft, is of course a misapplied emblem. The Cupid is of love beginning, rather than love in its fullness, guarding the fruit thereof. This card is said to have symbolized marital fidelity, in which case the rainbow as the sign of the covenant would have been more appropriate. These figures are also held to have signified truth, honor, and love, but I said that this was so to speak the gloss of a commentator. So it kind of goes into some different things about each card, the original meaning, and some of how it's been thought of later on. Then it goes into the history. And I just found this a really fascinating book. I haven't read the whole thing yet. but I plan on it, and I think it's a great little quick read. Sorry, my tongue is all twisted but there when I was trying to read it. But let's see. So on the back, I don't know if I read this. The key to the tarot is the essential guide to unlocking the secrets of tarot from renowned scholar they call A.E. Waite. This enlightening book, which can be used in conjunction with any set of tarot cards, explains the history and symbolism of the tarot deck, as well as providing a step-by-step guide to using the cards for divination practices. This is your key to harnessing the power of the tarot. I think so. This it says $20 in Canada, $9 in the UK, and check. How much did I get that for? I think it was a good price. It was $15. I got that one for $15. I think I had a hard time finding it used for less than that. The Druid craft was under $18, so this was a lot cheaper than Amazon. And this one was just under. This one was under $1. This was a really good buy as well. So hope you guys walk through of it. Let me know. I don't think I'll be getting it anytime, but if I do, I'll probably pop one up to show you the difference. So that's it, y'all. I hope you enjoy your Sunday and your new moon in Leo, and we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me here at Becca's by the Vase, my other channel. This is my new channel, Mermaid Bay Tarot. And always follow me down below on my links, and I'll put links to the book Depository where I purchased these if you're interested in buying these for yourself. And until next time, much love. See you later.